Welcome to my video on Wadjet. And it's not really a video on Wadjet, it's a deep, powerful portal that we're opening for the month of May, because the month of May is number 5, it's the 5th month. Tomorrow is the 5/5 portal, 5th of the 5th, 2025, which if you add that up numerology, it's 10, it's completion. Now, I have taught a lot on Wadjet and Nekhbet. Now, this is Wadjet, the snake goddess serpent goddess, also connected to dragons of Egypt. I have Ra, and this is her sister Nekhbet, who's also a protector goddess, also an upholder of Ma'at. They both are, as well as Sekhmet, and she is the vulture goddess, which can be likened to, for those of you that work with ayahuasca, these are the two goddesses. They don't take any nonsense whatsoever. So when you arrive in their space, you better do so respectfully, because they don't mess around. You know what I mean? And because they're the protectors of the pharaohs as well, sovereignty, royalty, all of the things. Now, I taught on these goddesses, like in the videos, quite a lot in past times, because if you go back to those videos, we were back then going through a massive evolutionary shift and changing of cycles. And that's what Wadjet also teaches us, that transformation is always at play. We never just arrive, then we go through it again. Now, it's the snake with its tail in its mouth, the circle. It's a symbol, okay? Now, I always say it incorrectly. I hope it's Ouroboros. Maybe I said that right. So then that is very, very powerful in its medicine, because it's like the wheel is round. There is no ending. It's just continuous, isn't it? Death, rebirth, resurrection. And that's kind of where we're at now. We're just a little further up the spiral. And we've now come through to a point where we've really closed on something massive. Along comes May, and it's our time to kind of move into that month and kind of like, really, really start to take long strides in going in a different direction. And Wadjet is here to help us with that, because we're going for the ultimate claim of sovereignty right now. And she's really, really connected to Sekhmet. Sekhmet and Wadjet can sometimes be spoken about the same goddess, because they are kind of the same, So let me start from the top, okay? So I have 4 powerful points here. There are going to be other videos where I'm going to go into the depth of Wadjet. There is so much that I have to share for this month. And what will happen if you follow the videos as we go through the month, we're going to move into the temple, which is the basically my Zoom room, but it's a temple and it's a free space. And we go into that space and we really work with the medicine and the magic that we've experienced through the month of May. And we work together as a group. So, for those of you that always come, see you in temple. For those of you this is the first time you're hearing about it, come and join. Okay, so now let's just entry point into the month of May. Transformation. Okay. Number 5 means transformation and travel. It is now time to rise. That's what the sun disk above our head is all about, as far as I'm concerned. And it's also about the Kundalini energy of Wadjet, who's going to rise that energy all the way up through our systems, and we're going to feel that rise of heat solar energy, and that's the Eye of Ra. So it's all coming up. So it's the rise. Okay, when that happens, of course, we're reaching for the day. We're going, yep, I'm here, large as life. Let's do this, because we've been very much in a death process for quite some time. So change, adventure, freedom, that's the month of May, if you choose to see it. And that's what Wadjet is all about, being able to see beyond the veil and bringing the two worlds together. So now number 2, snake medicine in general has been rife. And this is where Wadjet came in like an absolute freight train, because Wadjet is also, as far as I'm concerned, the overseer of May, because in the Egyptian teachings and the Egyptians mythology, if you like, she is the fifth day, or the 5th hour and the 5th day, 5th month, as far as I'm concerned, because transformation is snake energy and she is she, right? So that for me is like huge. Now, I've spoken a lot about my death walk, okay, and it was about my oak tree. For those of you that have been following me on YouTube, you can actually go back and watch the videos. I had this beautiful massive oak tree in my garden, and she was a living, breathing being. And she basically she had like 2 parts to her. It was a tree that went up and she kind of split like that, and then she really did split. Sat here in my office beyond this screen, there was a massive oak tree, and there was just this almighty crash, and she just split in half in front of my eyes. And I've done all my ceremonies there. I have squirrels, owls, birds, all sorts of, medicine buried there, because she was so special to me. And she just fell down. And I've shown you in previous videos that when she fell, a very long time later, I actually got one of her branches made into a walking stick. And the African guy that worked with it, who's very connected, it carved it into a snake. I didn't tell him that. He showed me. And her message was, nothing leaves you. We just transform and change shape. And it was the snake energy that basically helped her ascend. And that was what was gifted to me. Now, I've just come back from the UK after sending my kids off to London and all the rest of it on my grief walk. You've heard the story, blah, 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 fish paste. I don't want to revisit it because you heard it. But my point of bringing it into this video was one of my main coons, who is very, very connected to me. She was probably the most connected, was killed by a snake. And she said to me 2 days ago when she brought in Wadjet, she was like, hey, she was also called Freya as well, go figure. She was like, hey, like, I left this planet. I left you a big golden key, and you're missing it. You know what I mean? Take some time to go back to it. And she ascended through the snake medicine because she killed by a snake. So I was like, well, hang on a minute. And she was like, nothing. I haven't left you. I've just changed my form. So we go back to that snake and it's chewing its tail. Now, a friend of mine at the same time walking, going on our walks here in Cape Town. She's also like shamanic and, connected like we are. And she found a snake chewing its tail, but it was traumatized. And it was like, because we've had a lot of fires here. So this poor snake, she said it was quite traumatic to watch. And this poor snake was chewing its tail. And she was like, oh my God, that's the sacred symbol. And do you know what? That tells you two things, right? First of all, the symbol in itself, but most of all, I've spoken about this, getting caught up in the matrix of new age spirituality and getting taken off track, looping. That's what can happen. And then you start to start to go in on yourself. You know what I mean? So that was a powerful message for me, where I was like, wow, that's where the world is. In good intention, you're following your spiritual path, but why are you not arriving? Because you're giving your power away, chewing your own tail. You know what I mean? So that's basically another powerful message. So it's all about sovereignty. It's all about reclamation of power. And you can't burst into that new adventure, change and freedom, because freedom's about being in your power. So if you're not being sovereign and you haven't claimed your power and you're giving it away to others, then of course you're not going to be granted safe passage for that. Do you know what I mean? So this is like a lot of the videos that I've been sharing. This is like the understanding of it. So now let's go into point number 3, which is all about Wadjet. Wadjet, she's just amazing and beautiful and powerful and awesome, but she's also powerful medicine when you tap into her. So you may wish to go into a meditation with her. She is all about sitting on the forehead, or on the third eye of the enlightened ones, the enlightened beings. That was kind of like, when you see her, that's what she represents. But she is a powerful protector of the pharaohs and your queenship as well, depending whether you're masculine or feminine or whatever. She is the one that just does not take any shit. Same as her sister here. You know what I mean? In fact, just side note, this one here, this vulture goddess, she's on all the temples when you look up. So she protects all the doorways and everything like that. But the mythology of her sister is, if the pharaoh was not upholding Ma'at and not being true and honest and fair and just and, upholding Ma'at, she'd peck them to death and she'd eat them. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we go back to the snake chewing on its own tail. That can happen. So these goddesses are like, really, when you get to that top, it's like, you got to be ready. You got to be ready, and you can't be bypassing your shadow. You've got to walk it, right? So the activation of divine authority is very much what Wadjet will gift you. Wadjet joins Sekhmet. So let's talk about that. I'm going to be doing a very, very deep dive in medicine to do with Sekhmet and Wadjet in other videos to come. But for now, this is just a bit of an entry point. So, when Wadjet and Sekhmet work together, like Sekhmet, as we know, is the destroyer. She clears the way. We've been doing a lot of that in past videos and temple meetings. She clears the way. She clears everything out. Destroyer. We're not having any of that. Burns it away, right? And then in comes Wadjet, which is basically like a lightning strike. So Sekhmet is like, wah, you know what I mean? And just brings everything like chaos, but burns it away. And Wadjet just sits quietly and precise. And she watches. And then if something is in her way, lightning strike. So you've got two kind of energies which are very much the same, but they're both working towards the same authoritative place, sovereignty, upholder of Ma'at's truth. You know what I mean? So in a way, like I've always taught that these beautiful beings, these beautiful goddesses and gods, they are a step ladder for you to embody the medicine. So we don't want to just keep it out there where we're like, oh, you know, Wadjet of Egypt. No, Wadjet needs to come alive within you. Remember, she's Kundalini energy. And Kundalini energy ultimately comes from your base of your spine. We know that, and rises up to the third eye. But Kundalini energy, where does it come from before that? It's Gaia, it's the earth. So we really, really have to be grounded, very grounded in our presence in this transition. Otherwise we'll pop off the planet. So there's a lot of distraction and there's a lot of controversy talking about this Kundalini at the moment. And I've seen many videos and many people talking about it, that somebody else is activating Kundalini on another person. No, that's not, it's not all about the shake and the tremble. Kundalini energy is a process that men and women go through. And it's basically, what does enlightenment mean to you? Enlightenment is an aha moment. Enlightenment is a reclamation of wisdom and power where you go, oh my God, yeah, okay, I remember, right? That doesn't always come in shakes and trembles and all the rest of it and all the circus acts. It doesn't. For some it does, but not for all. So don't be distracted by that. Kundalini is an ongoing thing, and it may not come with the boom clack. It may come with a wah wah wah. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I've said it in other videos. Go back to what you think, what you feel. Speak to Wadjet about it, because she's in there, right? She's rising. So Wadjet, I've said, is the third eye. It's all about the seeing. You know what I mean? It's like, and the vantage point up there, it's all about seeing, you know? So I've spoken about the 5th hour of the 5th day, and we're going to call it the 5th month as well. So she's very much with us. Now, the final point I'm going to go into, point number 4, this is my final point, going further, right? Again, we're going to go into the depth of this, share with you a little bit of a story time with Marie. So get yourself comfortable. The other day, actually, it was the other week, I went up the mountains. I live at the back of Table Mountain. So I went for a walk with the dogs and my husband and friend. And we were trying to find it. I've tried to find this waterfall up at this mountain for 10 years. I've lived here. And I've never been able to find this waterfall. So anyway, I got an app for hiking. So it gave me the map. And I was like, oh, there's a waterfall. So we walked really far up the mountain. And then I was like, gosh, this is really far. And then somebody came down and said, are you looking for the waterfall? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, it's up there. Round there, see the top of the mountain up there? And I was like, shit, that's far. They were like, it's really far, but that's the way. And I looked at Brendan, my husband, and I was like thinking, coffee and a muffin? And he said, babe, if you want to complete, you know, we didn't get this far to turn around. And I very nearly flung a left to go down that way to actually say, right, yeah, you know what, another day, whatever. And he said, no, we got to complete. Well, it was so far. We went and we went and we went and we had to climb a lot, and we got to this, it wasn't even a massive waterfall, but the crystalline water that fell out the mountain onto my crown, I was like, got tingles, and I was like, oh my God. And then I had this huge sense of expansion that I'd gone beyond to where I got to before. And had I kind of flicked to left, which is very easy to do, I would have just come back to the same old, same old. And I was like, okay, that's really interesting. And then the fact that I did it, I was just like, wow, this is a huge, powerful message. You know what I mean? Of basically going further, right, than what we've done before. And again, I'm going to share videos on this because Wadjet is the one that's going to be able to help us with that. Because to be able to go further, you need to be able to see it. So the point of me sharing that story with you was prior to that, I couldn't see it because I was just wandering around the mountains going, where the is this bloody waterfall? And I couldn't find it. And then I got an app that showed me, look, this is your tracking thing and all the rest of it. And then I could see it. So I basically was given the gift of vision and insight and sight to be able to find out where this waterfall was. And I made it and I did it. And I was like, wow. And I had this expansion of like, wow, okay, well, this is something really, really big. And just another story to add to that. Work with me here. But it will help you land with this, what I'm sharing. It's all about Dory. It's finding Nemo. There is life beyond the fish tank. Think about the story of Nemo. Even go back and watch the video because it's going to land. I might do that today. They're all in the fish tank. And they're like, well, we've got to go and find Nemo's parents. And Dory said that she'd help. And she kept forgetting everywhere she went, which is actually quite funny because that's me in my perimenopause right now. I think I'm channeling my inner Dory. But anyway, she just kept swimming, right? Because memory wasn't there, but she followed blind faith, right? Old Dory, gotta love her. So anyway, my point is Nemo went to find his parents beyond the fish tank, and he basically found some very, very scary times, but some amazing times. And he expanded and he got to know the turtles. He also went a wrong way and found out someone else, made some more friends. And before you know it, all of those beings and things that he'd collected and connected with along the way came together for his support to find his mom and dad. Did he find his mom and dad? I can't remember. But anyway, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, that's what happened, you know? And what was he doing? He was trying to get united with his parents because I think he got lost. So he was separated and then he wanted to be united again. And that's what he was seeking for, union. So isn't that interesting? Going into the sea and the deep, dark, deep, right? Which is also Hecate. It's another video. But you see what I'm saying? So those are like, this is now, this month of May is about stepping beyond where you've been before. And we're going to talk it through and we're going to unlock it and we're going to tap it and we're going to ignite it and we're going to transform it, because the month of May is going to be a very, very powerful month. And it's going to be your absolute finding Nemo. And guess what? You're going to find Nemo. That's the difference. So walk with me, if you will, and look out for the next video. If you like these videos, click on your notifications because I'm about to crank it up. I've been very quiet lately. I feel that there's a live stream coming on, but I don't know when. Present moment vibes. But if you get the notifications, it'll ping on your phone. But also as well, this month of May is going to be incredibly powerful for you to just sit, connect with Wadjet. And even if you don't watch any of these videos or anything else or read any books, just connect with Wadjet and feel her presence within you, because she's going to guide you. And maybe that's a good thing. You know, it's quite crazy, isn't it, that I'm actually encouraging people not to watch my videos or anything else, but you get what I'm saying, you know, because I'm all about empowerment, man. I'm beyond workshops. I'm beyond ceremonies and things like that to an extent. Where I'm focusing on is when we're all dancing around a bonfire, banging our drums and just eating food and actually having a good time. And we're so heart opened and connected and trusting in the universe that we don't have to worry about money or abundance, because we're just generally like clicked into that. And there's no reason why we can't hang out with each other and just, you know, have community and just have fun. And that's what I'm seeing, you know? So what do you see in the future? It only takes a few steps to walk around a corner and change direction. Doesn't take much, does it? So anyway, I'll leave that with you and I'll see you on the next video. If you choose to watch it. I've just told you not to, but that's up to you. So I'm going to leave this completely bipolar moment. End of video. Peace out, guys. Peace out.